Shalum. Shalum and welcome. Welcome to the White Rose Family Channel. If you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Symmanayah, and these are the words I'm compelled to present before an awakening set-apart nation. My brothers and sisters, in this segment of the Final Exodus Countdown 2023, I want to present to you what I believe defines the Wheels of Ezekiel. The Wheels of Ezekiel. And let me say this, my brothers and sisters. There are many things that we speak of boldly among this set-apart nation, and even outside the set-apart nation as it relates to scriptures. There are many interpretations, but we fail to recognize that for so many years, people have been saying, pointing to the scripture and saying, that is the infallible word of God. That is the infallible word of Yah. That's not the total truth, O Yashar'al. You see, the original scriptures, there were some scriptures. The original scriptures were inspired by the word of the Almighty Father, by the Spirit of the Almighty Father Yahuah. The original scriptures. But man have found portions of it, have formed committees, and we have thus the King James Version, the American Standard Version. And some have even went so far as to say, well, they got it wrong. And then you have the Sefer, the Hallelujah Scriptures, the International Scripture Research Bible. There are so many versions of the Bible. There are those that try or have printed names to substitute the true name of the Almighty Father Yahuah. There have been scriptures that substituted a new month with new moon or new moon with new month. There are scriptures, my brothers and sisters, that have been tampered with in these different translations. But what man cannot do is tamper with the Spirit of the Almighty Father. And I will present the case, O Yashar'al, how we are in the season of truth. A season that says that it is the Spirit of Yahuah that will make alive what his message was to us in the original scriptures. We use the different translations, sure, because that's what all we have. But we can pray and seek to discern what is the function, what are the actions, what are the teachings that the Almighty Father wants us to learn in spite of the different translations. I will present the case that the Wheels of Ezekiel they have a purpose. And I will present to you how I believe the synagogue of Satan, or those who are outside of set-apartness, tamper with the scriptures and want us to think it's just monsters or beasts, and that it's just some wheel. Some even believe the Ezekiel wheel represent flying saucers. I will present the case of what Ezekiel actually saw and what is meant to bring to reality the things that are important for this final Exodus. Countdown 2023. Yashar'al, or Yashar'al, let me begin with these questions. Can we find mention of aliens anywhere in the scriptures? Can we master the scriptures without discerning the voice of the Spirit of Yahuah sent in Yahusha's name? The letter kills, but the Spirit makes alive. Do we know what this means? Is it possible to discern the voice of the Spirit of Yahuah? Or is the text, the letter, enough? Has the scriptures been tampered with and infected with positions of erroneous interpretations? You see, one of the things that have occurred, my brothers and sisters, as I continue, I want to say this. One of the things that have occurred, the enemy have all too often wanted to give us something to make us think we got it and we can run with it. Just like with Adam and Eve. He made them think by eating the fruit they'll be as Yahuah. You see, he took scriptures in part And he's done many things. Even when they tried to build the tower that is known as the Tower of Babel, to make a name for themselves, thinking that if they built this tower, they would rise above all. Delusions, deception, misguidance, and wickedness. The enemy has tried these on many fronts, O Yashar'al. But I say to you, for such a time as this, things will become clear, and they will become even clearer. Let me continue. Let me present these words. 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 5 and 6. 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 5 and 6 says, not that we are competent in ourselves to reckon any matter as from ourselves, but our competence is from the Almighty One, who also made us competent as servants of a renewed covenant, not of the letter, but of the Spirit. For the letter kills, but the Spirit gives life. For those of you who don't know or have not asked the question, why do I say the Almighty One versus saying Elohim when I'm reading from a translation that states that? Elohim is plural, meaning mighty ones. There is only one Yahuwah, who is the beginning and the end, and he manifests his word in the person of Yahusha. And he sent his set-apart spirit in Yahusha's name. They are one. And we will grow to understand how this works. For no man can come unto the Father except by the Son. So when I see the word Elohim, which is a plural word, one could say the truth of the matter is it represents the plurality of how the Almighty One comes to us. But there's only one Almighty One. He is Yahuwah. And he came to us in the name of Yahusha. And he set his set-apart spirit in Yahusha's name. Let me continue. Romans 8:5 say, for those who live according to the flesh set their minds on the matters of the flesh. But those who live according to the Spirit, the matters of the Spirit. You see, for the matters of the Spirit brings enlightenment, understanding, clarity on how to better worship and obey the Almighty Father. Those who serve according to the flesh set their minds, their brains. You see, my brothers and sisters, these earthen vessels, these tabernacles, have a brain inside of it. And how we're raised, the environments we was raised in, the environments we were taught in, shape the way we think and comprehend the things we read, the things we see. You can have someone read a passage of scripture or even a book. 5 different people can give you 5 different interpretations of their understanding of what they read. You see the mind, how we condition. If we lean only on that, there will continually be confusion among Yashar'al. There will continue to be dismemberment, separation, many different points of view. But he who seeks the matters of the Spirit, listen to the voice of the Spirit of Yahuah, sent in Yahusha's name. Yahusha, we who are drawn by Yahuah to Yahusha Mashiach will discern his voice, and through that discernment, through that discipline, we will see unity will come in these final days. Let me continue. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 3 through 4 says, and indeed, if our good news has been veiled, it has been veiled in those who are perishing, in whom the mighty one of this age has blinded the minds of the unbelieving, so that the enlightening of the good news of the esteem of Messiah, who is the likeness of the Almighty One, does not shine on them. You see, those who are rebellious, those who are unbelieving, are blinded purposely, for their intent is wrong, for they set outside the court. And you will hear me say often, the outer court represents those who are not set apart. The inner court are those who are within the set apart family of Yashar'al. Let me bring this to your attention, and it will serve its purpose as I go through this passage, as I go through this message regarding the wheels of Ezekiel. For I am Yahuah, I shall not change, and you, O sons of Yaakov, shall not come to an end. We will learn the dynamics of our spirit that is joined with Yahuah by Yahusha Mashiach, how we are made one member, one family, one body, and that the Almighty Father does not change. These earthen vessels will come to an end. They'll go back to the dirt, as it's written in Ecclesiastes. But our spirit will never end. We will always be with the Almighty Father, Yahuah. Under the reign of his word, Yahusha, his spirit sitting in Yahusha's name. We will understand what that means, O Yashar'al. James 1:16 and 17. I read Malachi 3:6. And as the years pass by, we see that James is reminded. For here he writes, do not go astray, my beloved brothers. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no change, no shadow of turning. There's more. Stay with me, O Yashar'al. Let me continue with John, chapter 12, verse 36 through 40. It reads, while you have the light, believe in the light, so that you become sons of light. These words Yahusha spoke and went off and was hidden from them. But though he had done so many signs before them, they did not believe in him, that the word of Yashar'al the prophet might be fulfilled, which he spoke. Yahuah has believed our report. Who has believed our report? And to whom has the arm of Yahuah been revealed? Because of this, they were unable to believe, because again, Yahusha said, he has blinded their eyes and hardened their heart, so that they should not see with their eyes and understand with their hearts and turn, and I shall heal them. You see, Yashar'al, there are those with the wrong intentions. There are those who are undiscerning among us. There are those with hidden agendas before us. And I say to you, O Yashar'al, these are those who will find it hard to discern scriptures as they come alive and are mentioned from the obedient ones. As the obedient ones discern the life in the scriptures beyond man's temperament, as the obedient ones recognize what the Spirit of Yahuah is saying to us in Yahusha's name. Those who can't discern that will kick against it, speak against it, bear false witness, violating their commandment against the obedient. But I say to you, O Yashar'al, the Almighty Father has allowed many to be blinded because they would not know what to do with the truth because of their unbelief, because of their rebellion. My brothers and sisters, in Scripture, there is the literal and there is the spiritual. And just as we saw in many parables that Yahusha spoke, he explained them. Just as we read about the beasts, the different beasts in Daniel and other passages of scriptures during end times. In some cases, things are spiritual. In some cases, they're literal. Let me continue. Consider these words and questions, O Yashar'al. Revelation 2:9 and 3:9 says, I know your works and pressure and poverty, yet you are rich, and the blasphemy of those who say they are Yehudim and are not, but are congregation of Satan. That's Revelation 2:9. Revelation 3:9. See, I am giving you up to those of the congregation of Satan. See, I am giving up those of the congregation of Satan who say they are Yehudim and are not, but lie. See, I am making them come and worship before your feet, and to know that I have loved you. My brothers and sisters, do you think those of the congregation of Satan would attempt to hide the truth regarding instructions that were in the original scriptures? Can man successfully stop the Almighty Yahuah from making his word alive in us? Notice that in Revelation 2:9, he said, yet you are rich. Could the rich have manipulated certain words that were in the original text? Could they have put creatures and monsters in the wheel when maybe, just maybe, the original scripture says, I saw messengers from Yahuah, and I saw a formation of the set-apart nation of Yashar'al, moving about as they are gathered from the four corners of the earth. Could that have been substituted with creatures in this wheel? Or was it symbolic for such a time as this, and the Almighty Father reveal what is meant by these wheels? I will present the case that I believe the Almighty Father Yahuah, in the name of Yahusha, have presented the meaning of the wheels of Ezekiel. As I continue, stay with me. Consider these words and questions, O Yashar'al. In a massive exodus, do you think we would just run wild, all scattered, hidden in many, running in many different directions? Would you expect to be protected? Would we grow to accept there will be protectors among the gathered? Is it safe to believe we will witness bravery and courage during our final gathering? Haven't Yashar'al experienced individuals picking up where others have left off? When Yahusha did not make it to the promised land, we see where Yahusha and Aharon continued on. No one person carried the toll or the weight or the leadership of Yashar'al forever. Things have been passed from one generation to the next. Are you aware that a big family could produce children with many different traits, many different characteristics? If you doubt these words, I strongly invite you to visit Genesis 49th chapter and listen to Yaakov, whose name was changed to Yashar'al, commonly known as Israel. Or some may know him as Jacob, commonly known as Israel. Listen to him describe the characteristics of his sons in the 49th chapter of Genesis. For I believe the 12 tribes that are mentioned in the 7th chapter of Revelation, the 12th tribe, Dan, has been replaced with Manasseh, the grandson of Yaakov, as was prophesied. I believe that these 12 tribes of Yashar'al, 12,000 from each of the 12 tribes of Yashar'al, would exhibit the traits that are defined and prophesied by their father and forefather, Yaakov, whose name was Yashar'al, as he described these traits in the 49th chapter of Genesis. I am compelled to believe that we will see such traits rise up as 144,000 begin to be refined and emerge. Let me continue regarding the wheels of Ezekiel. I have not forgotten the topic, my brothers and sisters. The wheels of Ezekiel. Are you ready to at least listen carefully and consider the realities that this definition may bring to fit such a time as this? Come with me to the first chapter of Ezekiel as I read the 15th verse through the 21st verse. The first chapter of Ezekiel. Come with me, O Yashar'al. It reads as follows. And I looked at the living creatures and saw a wheel on the earth beside each living creature with its 4 faces. The appearance of the wheels and their works was like the appearance of beryl and all four had the same form. Could they be describing the complexity of Yashar'al as a whole? Could he be describing a melanated group? Now, he didn't say only, he just said the appearance of beryl. It said the appearance of their works was, as it were, a wheel in the middle of a wheel. And when they went any one of four directions. They did not turn aside when they went. Could it be possible, as Yashar'al is being gathered from the four corners of the earth, that there will be structure where we circle around brothers and sisters of different personalities and characteristics and strengths? Could this be Yashar'al in formation with guards all around, protecting the weak and those with other assignments, as we move from the various directions from the four corners of the earth towards the promised land? Let me continue. It says, their rims were high and awesome, and their rims were covered with eyes all around the four of them. And when the living creatures went, the wheels went beside them. And when the living creatures were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up. Could this be describing there were those among this wheel, this structure of Yashar'al, who passed along the way, and their spirit went up to be with Yahuah, and he placed them to that place of rest, wherever that may be? For the scriptures tell us that when we physically die, our spirit goes to Yahuah. It didn't say go up to heaven, it said go up to him. Could it just been saying it goes to him and we go to that place of rest until resurrection time? And the messengers, could it be these were messengers of Yahuah? These creatures that Ezekiel is describing. And when he said they had eyes all around them, could it mean that they were able to see with the spiritual eye every angle? Could it mean that the scope of one looking left to right, the other one's looking left to right, and out of the creatures, they were able to see the dynamics of Yashar'al and see to it that Yashar'al is protected and moving in a direction in which we should move in these final days? He goes on to say, whatever the spirit was to go, they went, because there the spirit went. And the wheels were lifted up together with them, for the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. Could this be speaking of when Yahusha returned and it said we're lifted up in the twinkling of an eye? When it talks about the dead and Yahusha rising and those who are alive being transformed. Could Ezekiel be talking about this? I believe so. It say when those went, these went. When those stood, these stood. When those were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up together with them, for the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. Was it the spirit of Yahuah working within these creatures? Yashar'al, oh Yashar'al. Let me continue on. We must learn how to discern beyond two-dimensional. Discerning beyond a two-dimensional perspective will change one's understandings of directions. You see, there are those who believe in a flat earth because they think in two-dimensional. They believe it's a single disc, flat or somewhat of a curved disc. And they cannot conceive the concept of a globe, of a circular planet. But because they can't conceive the three dimensions, no structure that Yahuah has laid out, they adamantly choose a flat earth. Consider this, O Yashar'al. With a flat earth, would it be that one could say, I'm going to hide from Yahuah by getting underneath it? Or we could be deceived to thinking we get underneath it? Are there any example of anyone trying to hide under the earth? No, it's not, Yashar'al. I want you to search your engine and put longitude, latitude images. And you'll see lines going from the north to the south, from the east to the west, covering every shape in every corner of this planet. And I want you to look and seek out anyone that has a telescope, or look at any YouTube videos. If you say a YouTube video, you might say, oh, they could have fabricated it, which is true. But I personally have experience looking at a telescope. Even without a telescope, if you gaze into the night skies, you'll see things around. Round. You see, the Almighty Father changes not. The earth is round. The moon is round. As the day comes and goes, as we witness the moon's present, we see that there is a turning. Not as rapidly as one would think or believe or be led to believe, but there's motion. I have had the experience of looking at a telescope and seeing planets that are round. Not all were perfectly round. Do you think that the sun is flat? That on the other side is just total darkness? And it's just as flat? You see, Yashar'al, the Almighty Father, changes not. He's presented so many things to us in ways for us to recognize that he is the beginning and the end. There are scriptures that even tell us we don't know where the wind starts and where it ends. You see, Yashar'al, this is important. It's important to understand. It's important for unity. It's important to recognize the things that have been brought before us by the Almighty Father, to understand, to eliminate some of the confusion, arguments, and debate. Yashar'al, my brothers and sisters, knowing and discerning that there are no places to hide from the Almighty Yahuah, we will learn the full dynamics of the difference between a sphere versus a disc. It would be wise to consider all examples presented to us in scriptures. Show that the Almighty Father doesn't change. He has presented circles and spheres roundabout in many ways. Yashar'al, oh Yashar'al, do you think the winds start on one end of the disc and end at the other end? Do you think it just spins around on top of the disc? I think not. When the Spirit of Yahusha teaches us, we discover how to interpret things correctly and move beyond our own intellect and walk in the spirit of unity, understanding what is placed before us. Chosen set-apart teachers will often demonstrate the ability to discern the voice of Abba Yahuah sent in Yahusha's name. I invite you to search out the images which show longitude and latitude lines. There are no directions left out. From east to west or north to south, all roads lead to what the Almighty Father Yahuah created. These lines depict coverage, as I stated, from the north to the south, to the east to the west. Let me continue, O Yashar'al. Ezekiel's wheel is a blueprint for structure for the coming together of a set-apart nation. Let us prepare to witness leadership and structure like never before imagined. Yashar'al, my brother, my sister, do you think the Almighty Father Yahuah, do you think he would leave us without guidance, without direction, without knowing what to do, where to go, with whom, how to do it? There will be leadership. There will be structure. My brothers and sisters, I want to say this to you who listen to these words. Consider this. The Almighty Father tells us he's going to draw us from the four corners of the earth. back to the land he promised. Is it so hard to believe that there will be structure? Is it so hard to believe that the weak will not be just left behind? That the youngest among us or the most eldest among us will not be protected? Is it so hard to believe there are some that do not have the strength and fortitude nor the expertise for fighting and battling and protecting? Whereas some will have the strength, the stature, the fortitude, the tools to protect those being gathered? You may have been looking at these slides for some time now and wonder, what is this circle that he has? That circle is just to give you an image, a two-dimensional image of a wheel, inside a wheel, with 12 spokes, 12 compartments, 12 specific components to reflect the 12 tribes of Yashar'al. And as I do this here Yashar'al in motion sequence, this being the fourth sequence of Yashar'al in motion, I want you to think about that wheel as structure. Will it always be a perfect circle? No. But will it represent that Yashar'al is protected on all four corners, all around, all about? Even though the words say four corners, from four corners, I submit to you from every direction of the planet, Yashar'al will come. Let me read this, O Yashar'al, for there are duties, there are tasks that each of us will begin to identify what must be done, and we'll do it. 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 12 through 22. 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 12 through 22. It says, for as the body is one, has many members, but all members of that one body, being many, are one body, so also is the Messiah. For indeed by one Spirit we were all immersed into one body, whether Yehudim or Greek, whether slaves or free, we are all made to drink in one Spirit. Many people will take the text and say it doesn't matter whether we're Yehudim or Greeks. It don't matter at all. That's not totally true. And they say, well, that's what the word says. That's what the text says. For in the text also, it lets us know that 12 tribes from each of the 12 tribes of Yehudah, of Yashar'al, which includes Yehudah, must rise up. 12,000 from each of the 12 tribes. If it didn't matter, why are we named? Why are the 12 tribes named? Why are there 12,000 from each of the 12 tribes? What this is saying when it says whether Yehudim or Greek is talking about the spirit of an individual. That spirit, for it is our spirit that is bound together as one body in Yahusha Mashiach, one body of the children of Yashar'al. So you see, when the spirit makes alive, then we understand what this passage means, whether Yehudim or Greek. It's talking about those drawn by the Almighty Father. But it's not saying ignore those that are true Hebrews or Abraham. Those are from specific tribes. It's not saying that. If you are one who is frustrated or seeking a desire to know what tribe you're from, and it is not made clear, notice that ultimately when the 12 tribes come together, when all said and done, it will be one banner. One banner. So one thing you can say as a set-apart child of Yahuwah, drawn by him to Yahusha Mashiach, are that you are part of the nation of Yashar'al, the body of Yashar'al, the tribe Yashar'al. For the 12 tribes will confirm and fulfill what is written. And once that has been fulfilled, we will all be under the banner of Yashar'al. We will represent the bride of Yahusha. Let me continue. It says, for indeed the body is not one member but many. That was the 14th verse. If the foot says, because I am not the hand, I do not belong to the body, does it therefore not belong to the body? And if the ear says, because I am not an eye, I do not belong to the body, does it therefore not belong to the body? If all the body was an eye, where would the hearing? If all the hearing, where would the smelling? But now the Almighty One has set the members, each one of them, in the body, even as he pleased. And if they all had been one member, where would the body be? And now there are indeed many members, but one body. And the eye is unable to say to the hand, I have no need of you, or again the head to the feet, I have no need of you. But much rather those members of the body which are thought to be weaker are necessary. Who has given thought to the function of a kidney, a liver, our lungs? Who have given thought to that passage in our veins where the blood flow through? Let us not take for granted the things we may not be aware of, O Yashar'al. Now you might say, what does this have to do with Ezekiel's wheel? What it has to do with the wheels of Ezekiel is structure. Structure to protect, structure to guard, structure to guide, structure necessary for moving mass numbers together from the four corners of the earth. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, we will learn how the functions given by the Almighty Father are important. How to function as the Spirit of Yahusha works in us. There will be those who know how to plant, when to plant, those who know how to gather water and purify water. There'll be those who know how to fight and hunt and fish. There'll be those who know how to teach the children and nurture the children and the babies. There will be those that know how to comfort the husband, or the husband comfort the wife. There'll be those that will demonstrate all the attributes, the different attributes that make up a set apart family as one. We will witness that begin to take shape as small groups grow into larger groups, merge into even larger groups, forming the great and final Exodus. There's work to be done, O Yashar'al. Do not despise what the Almighty Father has for you, for me, for us. Remember these words, O Yashar'al. Romans 12:3. Romans 12:3. Come with me. For it reads, for I say through the favor which has been given to me to everyone who is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he should think, but to think soberly, as the Almighty One has given to each a measure of belief. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, let us not put one task above another, or one brother or sister above another. Let us remember we are one body. There's a saying that we are as strong as our weakest link, the saying of man. And I submit to you that that is extracted from the wisdom of the scriptures. When Yahuah make known his words for us to be mindful of one another as he works in us individually and collectively. Let me continue, O Yashar'al. We will discover how the structure of the wheels bring protection and survival, O Yashar'al. Management of groups. I want to share with you, as Yashar'al get in motion, I would encourage you to begin identifying Yashar'al in your proximity. Those that are in California, those that are in Nevada, those that are in Arizona, whether it be state or within a 60-mile radius or 30-mile radius. Begin to identify within the parameters, within a distance that you can walk. You see, as destruction, as widespread destruction, as earthquakes in diverse places come, as volcanoes and tsunamis come, not everyone will be physically saved during these end times, as far as in these earthen vessels. But I believe the Almighty Father is saying, get to know those that are in close proximity, for they may be the ones you find yourself joined with and traveling to the promised land, or they may be the ones you find gathered with when destruction hit, when them final days in these earthen vessels hit. If it should hit with you not in the ranks of those gathered from the four corners of the earth. So in other words, Yashar'al, Ezekiel's will, that structure, the protectors, the nurturers, knowing how to move in the different directions that the Almighty Father will have us, that will ultimately lead to what I believe is the true Mount Sinai, commonly known as Jabal al-Lawz, Jabalallawz. It's the true Mount Sinai, located in the northwest quadrant of Saudi Arabia. For many years, the Saudi government kept it gated, fenced off, keeping the world from looking and examining it. They knew what that mountain was and what it is. Until most recent years, as the discovery have come to be, they have made plans to make it a tourist attraction and build a great city around it. And for some reason, they ran out of funds and finances. For some reason. The world will recognize the true mountain of Yahuah, and soon there will be individuals that will begin to demonstrate a power that can only be defined, whose origin can only be defined as coming from the Almighty Father, Yahuah. Accept this structure, Yashar'al. We will discover how the Spirit of Yahuah, Yahusha, works in us, one towards another. Let me read these passages to you, O Yashar'al, as I gradually come to an end. Acts 7:48 says, however, the Most High does not dwell in dwellings made with hands, as the prophet says. Consider also, that was Acts 7:48. Consider also Acts 17:24. Yahuah, who made the world and all that is in it, this one being master of heaven and earth does not dwell in dwellings made with hands. Colossians 3:16 reads, let the word of Messiah dwell in you richly, teaching and admonishing one another in all wisdom, singing with pleasure in your hearts to the Master in psalms and songs and praise and spiritual songs. Unity will come, O Yashar'al, and we will learn what it means to be one with Yahuah. And we will learn to know that Yahuah's word before us is reflective and made known by the name Yahusha. 1 Corinthians 3:16 and 17 reads, do you not know that you are a dwelling place of the Almighty One, and that the Spirit of the Almighty One dwells in you? If anyone destroys the dwelling place of the Almighty One should destroy him, for the dwelling place of the Almighty One is set apart. Which are you? We will know what this means. We will know that out of the Feast of Tabernacle, this tabernacle is an earthen vessel that houses our inward man that is joined with the Almighty Father in Yahusha's name. By saying Yahusha, we acknowledge his plan, his deliverance, the process of life, the restoration of fellowship. That's what Yahusha means. His word, Yah, or Yahuah says, his salvation. So many people would rather just magnify Yah or just say Yah. It's almost as though they took that Yah told us, when you say Yahusha, you recognize me coming to you in my word and in my spirit. When you ignore the name Yahusha, you ignore the process in which we are restored. We will grow to know what this means, O Yashar'al. The word of the Messiah, the word of Yahuah within us. Let me continue. My brothers and sisters, the structuring of a set-apart nation is necessary for successfully finishing end-time orders. Structure, submission, discipline, obedience, these are tough things. We have been a stiff-necked and stubborn people. But that doesn't mean that the Almighty Father will be a failure when it comes to disciplining his children. Discipline comes. Behold the discipline of the Almighty Father as it rises and gets intense before us. Extreme humbling times are before us. In the midst of all the uncertainty amongst set-apart children comes instructions warnings, and clarity on what must be done. O Yashar'al. No, the Almighty Yahuwah is not the author of confusion. Confusion to the set-apart children of Yahuwah is the fruit of disobedience, undiscerning, and unbelief. The Almighty Father has set different offices: pastors, teachers, deacons, priests, overseers, parents. Structure is important, O Yashar'al. And as you see the differences among Yashar'al, for those whose spirit will be stirring and move to step into unity, we will learn to ask questions. We will learn how to vet, going back to the purpose, the blueprint that I speak of from the feast times. Components that help you to vet, help you to clear out the junk, help you to clean up your understanding of what the Almighty Father is saying. To those who are trained by it, hear these words, O Yashar'al. Structure is necessary. Ezekiel's will is a structure that cannot be easily penetrated. Come, learn what that structure resembles. I will speak of more details in the formation of Yashar'al in various places and what is necessary. Me, if not me, another. If me, there will be another. For I believe out of the mouth of two or more, there will be confirmation to these words I speak, O Yashar'al. Let me continue. We will discover the literal and the spiritual value of structure. We will have a degree of comfort. We will learn how to manage our emotions, our disappointments, our victories. We will learn how to shout. We will learn how to proclaim the judgment of Yahuwah, the presence of Yahuwah, the favor of Yahuwah. Feast of trumpets, making a sound that proclaim his judgment, his favor, his presence. You see, there's more to these feasts than just coming together and eating. They have a purpose that's solid. And we will grow strong, O Yashar'al. Let me continue. Remember, like in the days of Noah and Lot, Abba Yahuwah's spirit was present. Are you not aware that his spirit was present? Ezekiel's wheel spoke of creatures. Could not the original scriptures be talking about messengers to assist with the gathering of Yashar'al, able to spiritually see in all directions, having spiritual eyes to discern what was happening? You see, just as the Almighty Father was present through many major transitions of his people, so will we witness in the coming days ahead. In Genesis chapter 7, verse 15 and 16, come with me as I read this. Genesis chapter 7, verse 15 and 16. And they went into the ark to Noah, 2 by 2 of all flesh, in which is the breath of life. And those going in, male and female of all flesh, went in as the Almighty One had commanded him. And Yahuwah shut him in. Does this not describe Yahuwah's presence as Noah and his family and those who were in attendance of the ark entered into the ark? Does this not describe the Almighty Father's presence, given that he shut them in? Now come with me to Genesis 19. Verse 15 and 16 reads this. And when morning dawned, the messengers urged Lot to hurry, saying, get up, take your wife and your 2 daughters who are here, lest you be consumed in the punishment of the city. And while he loitered, the men took hold of his hand and his wife's hand and the hands of his 2 daughters, Yahuwah having compassion on him, and they brought him out and set him outside the city. Does this not describe the Spirit of Yahuwah's presence, working through his messengers, leading Lot and his family by the hand? Just as in days of old, we will see the hand of Yahuwah working through his messengers, working through his children, his chosen ones, to lead Yashar'al. Guides among us will rise. My brothers and sisters, prepare to witness the guards and individuals guarded. You may be called to be a guard. You may be called to be in a place where you are guarded, closer to the guards. You may be one that's insulated deep, closer to the circle, this formation of Ezekiel's wheel, which assures you that you are protected by layers of structure that's directed by the Almighty Father. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al. The final gather will learn how to ask questions and seek answers from Abba Yahuah. You see, by asking, and I'm not talking about foolish questions, sincere questions, seeking the knowledge, the wisdom, the understanding, to rise up strong and set apartness, and accomplish the tasks and duties that are assigned to you. Make no mistake, O Yashar'al, structure is important. The wheels of Ezekiel will prove to have man, a woman, a wife, a child, and in its plurality, since there will be many, a great multitude, it will be men, women, wives, children. It is not some wheel that's set aside without the attendance of those who will be gathered from the four corners of the earth, or those who will be gathered to specific final positions that the Almighty Father will have them be in before destruction hits. You see, I believe that the Almighty Father will have some sheltering in place, still speaking words of set apartness to those who are facing destruction as it reaches their doorstep, to calm those who are drawn, who had hesitated, or who for whatever reason they were left behind. But their spirit is not left behind. For when the destruction hit, their spirit will go to Yahuah, and we will see them upon resurrection. The wheels of Ezekiel, my brothers and sisters. There's so much work to be done. Bring your abilities, bring your skills, things that the Almighty Father has smiled on you and given you, the talent to do certain tasks unwaveringly and with joy. Bring your resources, your supplies. Know how to set priorities, how to manage what has been entrusted to you. Contribute financially. For some, this may be all you know how to do right now, and that's okay. I ask, will you help me? Will you discern what the Spirit of Yahuah is doing? Will you join me? Financially, if you like, O Yashar'al. I have White Robes Family as a cash tag. I have a PayPal account. There are other ways in which you can contribute financially if you desire. One cannot buy a seat in the ranks of those that will be among the final exodus. But some will discover that the very thing that they supported financially may have just helped provide supplies and resources and tools for the bringing together of Yashar'al. And they may come later and say, I didn't realize this money that I given went to X, Y, or Z. I didn't realize the financial support that I gave helped to bring about and produce these elements for our final exodus. Yashar'al, there are many details. And there are people that was taking what they would call the safe side. I'm playing it safe. This is not a game. We are in spiritual warfare. It is not funny. It is not entertaining and hilarious. This is real. And as end times ramp up, as this pandemic gets intense, as earthquakes and volcanoes ramp up, as storms become intense, as many deaths enlarge before our very eyes, as we witness chaos and civil unrest and wars rise up, we who are the children of Yahuah will find ourselves in formation as Ezekiel's wheels, and the wheel will enlarge and get a wheel within a wheel and get larger and larger to those who have been trained and drawn by the Almighty Father. Come help me, O Yashar'al. Learn to vet whomever you're giving your finances to. Ask questions. And I ask this often. Are you really satisfied with your community head, your pastor, your bishop, your deacon, your spiritual influencer? Are you really satisfied? Are they imparting on you how to find out what's expected of you as an individual? Are they giving you things that in the event that they are taken home, if they are brothers, sisters, in other words, physically die, or any event they are removed, or any event you cannot reach them? Are they teaching you on how to navigate through the things that are unfolding during these end times? If not, it's time to reconsider whom you are giving your attention. Learn how to vet strongly with the intent to worship and obey the Almighty Father, to improve in worship and obedience to Him. And you will discover the realities of the Wheels of Ezekiel and more as we find ourselves being structured for this final Exodus. There are those who will speak of coming together and identifying expertise. Meeting once a week is not enough, O Yashar'al. If the world is ending, for the scriptures tell us that there will be a new heaven and a new earth. Even from a scientific perspective, with global warming and climate change, we are on the cuspus. We are at the eve of the final destruction of man as we know it. And as all this is unfolding, O Yashar'al, do you believe that we really should just meet once a week? Do you believe that the Almighty Father is saying get together once a week or twice a week? Are we trying to control the structuring of Yashar'al, but yet denying that that's what we're trying to do, but our actions show that we are? Take on the leadership's role that you have been called to do, my brother, my sister, with the humility to yield to when correctness comes, with the humility to identify those who have been charged to shepherd Yashar'al. Yashar'al, oh Yashar'al, once a week is not enough. Soon and very soon, as things become intense, we're going to be saying, I wish I could have. I wish I should have. That's not going to make a difference other than bring pain. Let us focus forward. Let us step into the dynamics of the things that are coming before our very eyes. Our spirit will stir, and we will find what it is we're supposed to do. There will be those chosen to confirm and reaffirm your calling, your task, my calling, my task. For it will be witnessed by the functions that come out of these earthen vessels as guided by the Almighty Father. Behold, O Yashar'al, end times are here, and they are becoming clearer each day. On that note, I salute your patience, your tolerance, your pursuit of set apartness. I pray that you are in good health, and for those that are not in good physical health, I pray that you have the spiritual strength and fortitude to navigate through whatever state you're in, to still hold strong to the hand of the Almighty Father sent to us in Yahusha's name. Be encouraged, O Yashar'al. Our redemption draws near, nearer than some will imagine. On that note, my name is Symmanayah. The Wheels of Ezekiel has a place, has a structure, has a function, have a function. And we will witness that come to be in the coming days ahead. Until then, stay tuned. There is much more to come. Shalom. Shalom, my brother, my sister, my family. Shalom.